Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Soul Report. Here we go again. We're going to delve into some stories that are going to uplift and inspire you. I'm your host, Dr. Douglas James Cottrell. Each episode, we bring you conversations with the most thought-provoking motivational speakers, authors, lecturers, skilled therapists, and intriguing personalities from around the globe. We're here to explore the myriad ways these remarkable individuals motivate and assist us through their unique modalities, talents, and abilities. So, whether you're seeking a spark of inspiration or deep transformational wisdom, you're in the right place. Let's discover together the souls that are shaping our world. Today, we have an exciting guest, Mr. Jack Bialik. He's the author of Lost in Time. He's a electrical engineer. He's been a project manager, and he is now involved in biblical studies. He's made notable contributions to the U.S. Air Force Department of Homeland Security. He's impacted industrial paper presented to Motorola Systems Symposium in 2000 was greatly received. Hey, he's been at the White House. He's helped Homeland Security. He's a chief technological officer of a niche crypto mining company. And also, he has extensive biblical studies. JackBalick.com, his book Lost in Time is available across Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Welcome to the show, Jack. It's great to see you today. How are
Well,
you doing?
thank you, Douglas. It's my pleasure to be here, really, to speak with you today.
Well, what an amazing title you have, Lost in Time. I feel like that every day, but you know, your book is a profound writing. So tell us a little bit about how you came up with this idea and what's Lost in Time all about.
Yeah, sure. Well, Lost in Time, Our Forgotten and Vanishing Knowledge is basically about all the knowledge we've forgotten, lost, and destroyed, which is kind of an interesting topic because how can you write about something that's lost, forgotten, and destroyed? But over the years, over the eons, we've done this multiple times, multiple times. So um, I'll give you a couple of simple examples, maybe. Ancient Egyptians in about 2500 BC did cataract surgery. We do cataract surgery. It was slightly different back then, but we have knowledge that they did it as far back as that. And in ancient India, uh, cataract surgery was done in about 800 BC. So we think, of cataract surgery that started in the 1700s. Um, Even when we started doing it, they had to have a strong man hold the person to the chair because they didn't have any kind of, uh, you know, anything they could put in the eye to deaden the pain. Um, so it wasn't very well done back then, but that's an example of something that was done long ago and is done now. There's many examples like that. Vending machines in ancient Rome in 10 BC, there was a vending machine that dispensed holy water at temples. So, I mean, we think we invented the vending machine, but it was around much before, much longer than that.
Okay, so everybody's wondering, how did you find out about this?
Yeah, well, it was an interesting experience. I was just watching the news, or I like to watch the History Channel on TV, and I was watching that, and I saw some of these things pop up. Um, metal poles that don't rust, um, that were thousands of years old. I said, wow, how can that be? How could they do that? Or, the cataract surgery or the vending machine or whatever. I saw it on TV and I just started putting it together that we have this tendency to invent things and then forget them. And the book really is about how we're poised to do the same thing over again. We don't really think about it, and we tend to, invent these things without thinking about how to keep it for long periods, how to keep that technology or that technique or whatever it is for a long time. So it's just by chance and putting these pieces of information together.
So your curiosity kind of led you to like, like how did that happen? Cataract surgery wearing boxing gloves. It's kind of like I could imagine some poor soul. I'm sure they had alcohol back in the day. That might have helped a little bit, but still, I've seen also myself where they have discovered skulls with holes that have been drilled in them,
Mm.
indicating that they did brain surgery back in the day. So, this idea that we're an ever expanding, knowledgeable society, that from day one until now, we are at the top of technology and knowledge and progressing in the world. But with, going back to vanishing knowledges and your Lost in Time book, it's not so true. We shouldn't be so arrogant to think that we're the only ones. I think back in the day, they did many things. So as you continue to explore this, your book, I'm sure would maybe help us because here we are in a digital age where everybody's had this experience probably more than once where you're typing a wonderful music, a great letter, your computer blinks and it's gone. And so you're just like, "Grr, so angry that happened." So what if all the knowledge in our society disappeared? What would happen? So does your book deal with how people discovered this? I mean, as they say, nothing new under the sun. So how is it you're looking back? And how can you, I think you're warning people that they should be prepared in case that knowledge disappears again. How can they do that?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, I like to say awareness is a catalyst for change. And so I'm just trying to make people aware, there's too many avenues that this could take place. I mean, we tend to think about technology, but there's medical, there's technology, there's medical fields, there's many different fields where, I mean, even spiritual fields where knowledge gets lost and then has to be refound. So my approach is really to just bring that awareness to everyone. And the other point that try to make people aware of is that knowledge travels on language. You have to have a way to keep knowledge so that it lasts a long time. I interviewed the head curator for the Internet Museum in San Francisco, and he was telling me they have old IBM PC computers, and some of the very first ones, IBM XT and things like that. And in order to preserve the information and the knowledge that's on those computers, they can't use the old floppy disks or anything because they become brittle and fall apart, and they you can't. I don't even think you can buy them anymore. So what they do is they take the computer programs and they print them on paper so that they can keep them. It's like going backwards, you know. Like, and so my book does delve into the digital dark age where we think, we're making progress by saving data, and we can see that data in the past, information in the past was put on stone tablets that lasted thousands of years. And we put it today, well, you put it on paper. How long does paper last? Maybe hundreds, maybe 1,000 years, maybe. And we're putting things now on, you know, SSD drives and thumb drives and things like that, or even on a DVD. A DVD or CD only lasts 30 to 40 years. The pits will oxidize inside that DVD, and eventually it'll become unreadable. So, you know, by moving forward, we're putting more data in a smaller space, more information in a smaller space that has a shorter lifespan than what we had before. So in a sense, we're going backwards.
Well, the danger is, poof, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Some magnetic impulse somewhere or some electrical discharge, stroke of lightning. I don't know. You're the engineer, so tell me, how do these things happen? That, like you're already warning us that we should do something. I mean, should we get out the old hammer and chisel and get another Rosetta Stone going, and maybe go to hieroglyphs or something? What do you think?
Yeah, I had a friend who said that. He read the book and he says, well, maybe we should be writing on stone. I'm like, well, no, that's probably not the answer. But um, so yeah, there are things that could happen. Uh, for example, there's sunspots, right? We have sun flares. There's one type of sun flare that's called a Carrington event. And they had one in the 1800s, I believe it was. Yeah, it was in the 1800s. And what it was a super strong discharge from the sun, and it energized all the power line. Well, we didn't have many power lines back then, but we had telegraph, you know, and it energized all the wires that were up on the poles, and it zapped everything that it was connected to. And so could we have another one of those? I don't know. Could we have a bigger one? Who knows what could happen? There are other examples. The one that I think is possible or plausible, anyways, we'll put it that way, is an atomic explosion in space.
Wow.
If you detonate a nuclear weapon in space, what happens? I mean, people don't think about it. We don't know. It's only been done once. And the reason it's only been done once is because in space, there's no air. There's no oxygen. For an explosion on Earth, you need oxygen for gunpowder to explode. But with a nuclear event, there's no oxygen required. It does a different type of expansion. And what it does in space is it sends out a large EMP, electromagnetic pulse. And so what would happen with that pulse is it would just zap like every piece of electronics anywhere near it and probably go down to the earth. I think the experiment they performed, it did go down to the earth and at least part of the earth. It's not going to affect the whole earth, of course, but for a section of it, it's going to zap all the electronics. So, could that happen? Maybe, possibly. I mean, it's possible.
Well, it makes sense because when you have a detonation in space, it goes 360 degrees, right? It's like an orb or a globe expanding out 360 degrees in all directions. And of course, the part of the Earth that would be facing the explosion would be the part that would take the blunt of that um, EMF. So the long and the short of that is like, don't do that. Like please don't do that. So, but maybe things like that have happened before. Some of the Vedas and the Hindu writings have found that in the desert there's melted or there's globs of glass, and the only conclusion that that can happen is from an atomic explosion that has gone off, and the sand has turned into molten glass and then hardened. So maybe we've done it before, and maybe that's one of the reasons that the world has gone through these world disasters or total world destruction. Maybe we're just on the brink of that. What's the name of that book again, Jack? Have you got one you can show
Oh,
us?
oh yeah. Lost in Time or Forgotten and Vanishing Knowledge. Get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's hardback and paperback.
Okay, beautiful cover. We'll be right back after a short break.